Hello there, this is Sherri Simpson. It is Mudra Monday. I am your transformational life coach, your Akashic Record Reader, and your hypnotherapist. So I'm going to talk more about what Akashic Records are today, but first let's get into the card that I pulled for you. The card that I pulled was the space or ether element. And I'm going to read the back for you. So the back suggests 3 different yoga poses that you can get into that can help you with this element. So there's 5 different elements. We have the element of air, earth, water, fire, and ether. And essentially, in your astrological chart, you have many of those. If you don't have all of them, then it's as though you're missing this piece of balance. So myself, I don't have that much earth in my astrological chart. I have very much water in my astrological chart and a little bit of air as well, but not very much earth. So for me, getting into nature and grounding gives me the earth piece that I'm missing. So you want to pay attention to your astrological chart to see what it is that is in your chart and what the signs are so that you know how to actually make yourself feel a little bit more complete. So I have 5 planets in Scorpio and my rising sign is in Capricorn, and I think I have a Sagittarius and something else, I don't remember. But that means to me that I have to concentrate on balancing myself in ways that don't resonate with water, because that is more balancing. So what I want you to do is pay attention to the ether today, because this is coming up. And what is the ether? The ether is kind of like the space between things. So let's talk dimensionally for a second. Hi, Missy, good to see you. So dimensionally speaking, we are in the 3rd dimension. So the first dimension is a dot, like a dot on a map. Second dimension is a line. So when you plug a dot in the map onto your GPS, it creates a line from where you are right now to where you want to go. And that line is 2-dimensional from getting from this place to that place. 3-dimensional means that you are actually driving in a physical car. You have length, width, and height within you and within your car. Hi, Deborah. And you are driving to a place. You are experiencing physicality in your 3rd dimension. Your 4th dimension is actually your air dimension, which is your thought dimension. And the thought dimension is literally like the 4th dimension where thoughts exist. So you can't grab thoughts, but you know you have them. And so that's the 4th dimension. The 5th dimension is where the Akashic Record starts, and it's sort of the space in between everything. So it's the space between the air and the fire and the earth and the water. It's that extra thing that, so we as humans, our bodies have a lot of space. There's a lot of water in our bodies, but our bodies they're not like drastically heavy. Our bodies actually have a lot of space inside of us. So we actually have ether within us. So let's go through the 3 yoga poses that they suggest. One of them is half shoulder stand. I recommend inverting yourself regularly, so turning yourself upside down. But I know that things like shoulder stands and headstands can be totally scary and totally unavailable for many people. But the idea of inverting yourself is really good because A, it gives you a totally different perspective, and it's good to sort of reverse gravity. The other pose is fish pose, which technically is an inversion. And the other one is, which I'm going to talk about more, is called legs up the wall. Legs up the wall is fabulous. It is one of those positions where I'm going to describe how you do it. I'm not going to show it to you today, but you would find a wall, and then what you would do is scoot up on your butt on that wall, and you would allow your legs to go up the wall and then scoot your butt in so that you're in this position. You can also do it, which is a little bit less drastic, if you are using a chair and you're bending your knees on the chair and you're lying down on the floor. Or some people who have, you can do this in bed. So if you're actually lying in bed and you have the ability to put your legs up the wall at your bedside or on the bed, then that's a really great idea as well. So what does it do? What is like legs up the wall? It's a gentle inversion. And one of the things that it's really beneficial for is to actually balance your blood pressure. So if people have low blood pressure or high blood pressure, it can actually balance it. It doesn't maintain the balance for a long time because there are other things that have to shift, but you can really get to a point where if you're doing it daily, you're finding a way to manage or maintain your blood pressure, which is awesome, right? If that's something that is an issue for you. So the ether is also about hearing. So if you think about your thoughts in the fourth dimension, the perspective of this card is that what you hear and sound is actually in between things. It's in that dimension of the fifth dimensional realm. This is also connected to your throat chakra and beyond, which I concur with, because your throat chakra is here in the center of your throat. And most people will connect the throat to the things you say, but it's also connected to what you hear. So it could be that you are hearing things or paying attention to music or conversations or thoughts in your head that you're hearing that are not resonating with you. If that's the case, then you want to change what you're listening to, or you want to change how you feel about what you listen to. So often people will have this idea that they overhear conversations, or somebody says something to them and they take it not in a way that it was meant. So you want to really pay attention to how you are listening, so that, hi there, Melissa, so that you can understand and you can act in your own way, in your own measure, according to what you're hearing. And of course, that comes down to speaking as well. You want to speak from your heart. You want to speak compassionately. You want to speak the truth. You want to speak your truth. So that's connected to what is existing in the ether. This is also connected to the stars and the full moon. Somebody was asking me today about the energy that is going on right now, because we are coming up to a full moon, and it is also a lunar eclipse. So that means that the energy is a little bit wonky. So I know the beginning of the year, everybody's like hoping for the year to be like brand new and really cool, and it doesn't always happen, because you have to shift in order to make a difference in what is going on around you. So some of the things that have been happening for me, I've been getting less sleep, and I've been feeling more tired and wanting to stay up and like eager to do things and slightly impatient. And so some of that is just the shift as we're getting into the full moon and we're feeling the energy build. And some of it has to do with water. There's water in our bodies, so make sure you're drinking lots of water. Make sure you're allowing yourself to be in water if that feels good. So getting Epsom salts baths or going swimming. So that can help you to shift and balance. But some of what is going on at the moment is you not being tested so much, but you really honing in on the choices that you want and what you want in your life and what you want to do. And then you actually having the trust in yourself and the confidence and the personal power to act those out. So that is happening, and you might feel like you're kind of scared to make choices. You might kind of feel like kind of wonky, or you might feel like life just isn't giving you what you're asking for. So pay attention to what you're asking for, how you're asking. And sometimes the stuff actually comes back to us in response, like the universe will respond, but we're not paying attention. We don't notice, we don't realize what's coming back. So pay attention to how you're feeling, what you're thinking converts to emotion, and then your emotions tend to be how you act out. So after you've acted out, after you've thought and felt and acted, you want to pay attention to what the universe brings back to you, because the universe will bring back to you what you feel. So if you feel like disappointment, if you feel disappointed, or you feel sad, or you feel lonely, or you feel guilty or obligated or resentful, then know that you're emanating that out as a message to the universe that says, I want more of this. And you don't want that, right? I don't, unless you do. Maybe you do. But you really want to pay attention to that. And we don't always know how we're feeling. Sometimes we have a tendency to sort of numb that out because the to-do list is too big, or, we have other obligations and we're not paying attention. So if you're not paying attention to how you're feeling, at least pay attention to the signs that are coming back to you. If you're cutting your fingers and stubbing your toes, if you're figuring out that the gas tank is almost empty and you didn't realize it, things like that are telling you that you're not paying attention, or that what you're thinking about is not in alignment with what you really want. So you just want to pay attention to that and focus on that a little bit more. The ether is about a circle. That is about things coming around and going around. And so that's kind of like what I just explained with your thoughts and your emotions in the universe. So what you think creates an emotion, and then how you feel depends or dictates how you act. And then that goes out as a vibration to the universe, and it brings it back to you. So you just create this circle, this cycle. In order to change or break the cycle, you need to be able to get out of your comfort zone and stop doing the things that you don't want to do anymore. Stop doing the things that aren't serving you, and start doing new things. And I don't want you to change your whole life overnight, because that can feel like pulling your hair out. It can feel like way too much. It can feel like overwhelm. So you really want to start by doing one new thing a week. So if that one new thing is setting the alarm clock to wake up at a certain time and to go to bed at a certain time, then do that for a week until you're used to it. And then you're like, okay, so now I've done that. Now I'm going to change something else. So maybe I'm going to go to my diet next. Maybe on your diet next, you're going to add 1 extra vegetable a day, and you're going to do that for a week. And then you start creating a habit about 21 days. So you really don't want to do more than about 3 new things until you've done each of them for about 21 days. And then you can start adding in a new thing again. And that is how you get out of your comfort zone. And so sometimes your comfort zone isn't about what you need to add, but your comfort zone is about what you need to remove. So sometimes, maybe you watch 3 hours of TV, 6 nights a week. So if that's the case, then see if you can whittle that down to 3 hours of TV, 4 nights a week, so that you're actually removing something from your life, and then you have extra time to do other things that might serve you better. So you want to pay attention to what you're getting rid of and what you're keeping. And right now the energy of the universe is kind of making things all muddled, and it's really making you focus on what do I want and what do I don't want. This is also about reflection of light. So an interesting thing about reflection, it's almost the same as the 0 or the circle or the cycle. It's basically what is within you is outside of you. So if you see things outside of yourself, know that that is also in you. So if you see people around you who are making more money, who are seem happier, who take more vacations, know that that is something that is resonating with you. It could be a desire that you have, or it could be something that you're aiming to fulfill. So you want to pay attention to that, because things are a reflection. People are a mirror to us, so that the universe is reflecting people back to us. What does that mean? Say you are at the grocery store and you are in line and you're behind somebody who is arguing with the cashier, and you just really want to go through and pay your groceries, but for some reason you've created, because you create your own reality, you've created a situation where you are feeling impatient because you just want the person to pay for their groceries and move on, rather than getting angry and preventing you from moving to wherever you're going. So if that's the case, you want to ask yourself 2 things. One is, am I angry about anything? Am I creating extra resistance? I know this is more than one thing. Am I doing things in my life that are actually slowing me down? And the second thing to ask if something like that happens is, if you're impatient and you really want to go through the line, where are you going next? So are you going home? Are you going somewhere else that's an obligation? And do you really want to go? Or have you created this as a reason that you can be late, or that you don't have to go somewhere and be there at a certain time? So you want to pay attention to that, because the universe is giving you messages all the time. And we just don't always pay attention. The other symbol is the constellation. So if you get outside and look at the stars, pay attention to the ones that you notice. Do you notice the Big Dipper? Do you notice Orion's belt? Do you notice something else? So just pay attention to what you have focused on, and just kind of relay that back in the past to say, okay, how long have I been watching where the Big Dipper is? How long have I been trying to find Orion's belt? Like, how long have I been doing this? And, what does this mean for me? Let's see. It says the rules. What is the rules? So in the ether, the things or the body areas that are connected are your throat, which we talked about, your neck, which makes sense because it's your throat and your neck are connected, your endocrine system and your thyroid and your pineal gland. So let's talk about the endocrine system. For myself, I created an autoimmune disease called Graves' disease, which was a thyroid disorder or disease. It was probably created over about a 10-year, maybe even longer period, maybe my whole life up until that point. But it was about me putting other people's needs before my own, always wanting to please other people, not wanting to disappoint others. And so it was about not speaking my truth, but doing my best to make sure everyone else was served, and then putting myself last. That is a normal condition for the throat if you have throat issues. The endocrine system is basically your hormonal system. So if anything is going on with women with your menstrual cycle, men, if you're like angry, or you have like issues with even like fluids in the body, even like sweating, and even things that can happen with like your sinuses and stuff can be connected to hormones. So you want to pay attention to if your body feels good, because oftentimes we think that our body, that's just the way it is. Like, no, women are not supposed to have pain or symptoms at all in their menstrual cycle. When you do, your hormones are out of whack. And I know that might sound weird to some of you, because there's been so many like commercials that you've seen since you were like 5 that say, oh, you need this for menopause, and you need this for your menstrual cycle because you get headaches and you get cramps. Those aren't normal. They are not normal. So you want to actually pay attention to what you have been accepting as normal, not just in your body with your hormones, but in your whole life. Because really you want to get into this place of, how can I create my new normal? If I want to get outside of my comfort zone, if I want something that is not in my life right now, it's outside of my comfort zone. So how do I get there? So you want to pay attention to that. Let's go to the qualities. So the qualities is liberation. Let's talk about that for a second. So your endocrine system, each of your endocrine glands is connected to one of the main 7 chakras in your body. Chakras are just vortices or vibrating wheels of light or energy. And they're connected to, can you hear the cats going crazy back there? They're connected to the flow of energy in your body, but they're also connected to physical things that are going on in your body. So if you have a block in your chakra energy, then you likely have a physical issue. Or the cat's underneath my table growling. Goodness. It's 2 ginger cats that I'm watching. And it's a daughter and a dad, and they don't really get along that well all the time. But the endocrine system is really about the flow of energy. So when I said liberation, you have 2 currents in your chakras. Your liberation current goes from the earth and comes all the way up through your system and sort of pours out your head. And that is you being liberated so that you're connected to something bigger than yourself. Your manifestation current is the opposite direction, when you actually take the energy from source and you take all of this wisdom and you bring it through your body as a thought, and then you attach how you speak about it, and you bring your emotions into it, and you bring your confidence into it, and you create something. It actually goes down. So the manifestation flow in the body is actually down and the liberation is up. You want those to be both flowing and connecting into the ether, connecting into the Akasha, connecting into how you are speaking, how you are hearing. So legs up the wall is one of the poses that they're recommending for you. So if you haven't done legs up the wall, then you can comment below, and I will see if I can find a picture to at least show you that. The other thing is expansion. So allowing yourself to, I want to say be bigger, but I don't mean like physically be bigger. So allowing yourself to think bigger. Many of us think really small. My guides keep telling me that I've been thinking small and that I need to step more into a leadership role. And I'm like, I don't even know how to do that. So I'm waiting for more wisdom to come through. But many of us do that. Many of ourselves, hi Rick. Many of us keep ourselves stuck in our same kind of containers, and we just sort of explore our life with the same experiences and the same friends and the same foods and the same sort of shape. So you want to allow yourself to expand outside of your normal, outside of your comfort zone, and do new things. So join Toastmasters, speak in front of a crowd, go to a paint night, host a paint night, do whatever it is that allows you to do something different so that you can actually expand and grow. Start doing Sudoku puzzles if you don't do those. Learn how to play the piano. Do something different, learn something different, experiencing something different. That will help you expand and grow. Awareness, we sort of talked about awareness a little bit. Awareness is kind of you paying attention to what is coming back to you, you paying attention to your feelings, you paying attention to your thoughts, and just being aware of how everything is connected around you. So many of us sort of go through life on autopilot. I want you to be more aware, if you can, about how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're creating, who you're interacting with, and how that feels, and just having more awareness of your whole situation and your feelings. Purification, that can be about releasing things that don't serve you. We talked a little bit about that, and about calling in things that do. Again, I mentioned Epsom salts bath is a good way to do that, especially if you put the Epsom salts in your bath. Don't forget those. And if you put essential oils. So I'm hearing how much Epsom salt. You can put up to like a cup or even 2 cups of Epsom salt in your bath. But the issue with that is it draws things out of your body, so it detoxifies you. But as it's doing that, it also takes water out of your body. And it seems kind of weird that you're in the bathtub and that water's being extracted from you. But you know when you get out of the tub that your fingers are all wrinkly. That means that you're dehydrated because the water was actually drawing things out of you. So if you put a cup or more of essential or of Epsom salts in your bath, you need to drink water before, you need to drink water while you're in, and you need to drink water after. It's really important to stay hydrated. So if you take a bath before you go to bed, you might have to get up in the middle of the night to pee because you need more water. So allow yourself to do that. The other aspect to the Akasha card is consciousness. So if you are going through life as though you're sort of like, do you remember the Dunkin' Donut commercial where the guy got out of bed and he was like, it's time to make the donuts? That would be having a lack of consciousness. If you are aware of what you're thinking, and you're aware of how you're feeling, and you're aware of interactions, and you're aware of your surroundings, and you're concentrating on releasing things that don't serve you and calling in things that do, that is you stepping into your consciousness. So allowing yourself to do that. So let's talk about the Akashic Records now that I have you. So I read the Akashic Records. What is that? The Akashic Records are the book of life. So if you believe that you are a soul in a human body, which I do, if you don't, no big deal. You can have whatever belief you want. So I believe that we are souls in our human bodies, and that we've lived before. So we have past lives, that we have future lives, that we've been things on other planets, in other star systems, in other galaxies, in other universes, not just this one. So that means that there has to be some record of what has gone on. So the Akashic Records is like this giant etheric library that exists, that contains all the information about you and every other soul that has ever existed on the planet, and it is available and accessible. You can read your own. You might be doing it already and not even know it. Some of your intuition or third eye wisdom may be coming from your Akashic Record. If you have dreams and feel like that might be past life information, that's from your Akashic Record. If you have ever been to a place and had this weird sense that you've been there before, or you know information and you don't know how, and you know that it's connected to you somehow, that's likely from your Akashic Record. So I have learned how to read these things for other people, which is kind of cool. It's kind of scary and weird at first, but it's kind of cool. So the Akashic Records contain a whole bunch of information. They contain everything that your soul has experienced, the relationships that you've had, the jobs you've had, all of the things that have gone on with your soul since it was created, way back there. Many people have had hundreds of past lives. So I can actually go back and pull information from past lives. Sometimes we can do this in hypnosis. I do it for people just in a past life session where I just connect into your Akashic Record and we go through it. And I often do it with people just as PDF written things, and then we talk about it later. But some of the stuff I can pull is where you originated. So my soul didn't originate on Earth. My soul originated from Orion. So I'm technically a starseed. So if you've ever seen that word, if you've ever seen people refer to themselves as starseeds, it means that their soul didn't originate here. It originated somewhere else in the stars. What else can I pull for you? Our energy, kind of like the chakras, but not exactly. Our energy contains 8 different types or flavors of energy, and you are made of all 8. but each person has a different percentage of each 8, and that makes you unique. So I can tell you what your primary and secondary energy are, and I can tell you what qualities and characteristics that means about you. And some people who are in alignment with who they are at soul level really connect with that information. And if for some reason you have strayed away over lifetimes about who you were at soul level in a past life, then you might not feel like yourself at all, or you might not feel like what I'm sharing with you is about your soul. So that's kind of interesting information. Sometimes I can bring through information about what your unique and special gifts are. So some people I know automatically that they're clairvoyant or clairaudient, or that they work with the angelic realm, or that they can send prayers of healing, or that they're meant to be a healer. Some of that stuff comes up in Akashic Records, which is fabulous information to know, especially if you're trying to figure out what your purpose is and how you want to serve people and how you want to serve you and just feel more fulfilled and passionate. What else can I pull for you in the Akashic Record? I can pull for you about your manifestation blueprint, or your manifesting blueprint. So you've probably heard the universal laws. My coaching certification is based on the universal laws. So the big one that you probably know is the law of attraction. The law of attraction means that which is like is drawn. And I explained that a little bit at the beginning when I said that your thoughts happen, which you have control over, by the way. Your thoughts happen, and then the thoughts you think create an emotion in your body, and that emotion in your body creates this like energy around you, just like static almost, like energy, and that energy ends up getting exuded out of you into the universe, and the universe feels that, so it might feel that you're joyful, or that you're happy, or that you're having fun, and it will match that. So how you feel is what you attract. That's about the law of attraction. There's a bunch of other universal laws that go with that. One of them is the law of allowing. So the law of allowing, how I describe that is order a pizza. So if you are trying to manifest something, if you're trying to get a new job, if you're trying to build a business, if you're trying to find your perfect partner or have a baby, you want to focus on exactly what you want, the emotion that it will bring you, and you want to do as many things as possible in your life now that feel that same way, but you want to do it by disconnecting from the outcome. So if you want a brand new job, you want to focus on, I want the job to be this far of a drive, I want to make this much money, I want to work this much time with people, this much time, on my own. I want this much vacation pay, I want this for my benefits. You sort of focus on all of those things and kind of write out the logical human details. And then you actually attach, okay, if I have all of these things and I have this perfect job, what does that feel like? Does it feel like success? Does it feel like freedom? Does it feel like enjoyment? Whatever it feels for you, you want to start making lists at first of different things in your life that you can do that match that same emotion. So if it was success, then does cleaning the garage make you feel successful? Does taking a hot bath make you feel successful? Does doing the dishes or making the bed or doing the laundry make you feel successful? Because if they do, then you're matching what you want. And if they don't, you want to start adding more things into your life that actually feel this way. And when I say the law of allowing and you need to detach and order a pizza, what I mean is now that you've created this idea of what you want the perfect job to be, and you know that it feels like success, you want to order a pizza in terms of how you are asking for that. So you have it all written down, you know exactly what it feels like, and it's as though you called up the pizza place and say, hey, this is what I want on my pizza, this is how much I'm paying for it, this is where you're delivering it, thank you. And you literally want to hang up and don't call them back. So that means if you are sending this request out to the universe about this perfect job that you want, but you are hesitating on, oh no, I only want to drive 15 minutes, not 25. Oh no, I want this much money, not that much. Oh no, I want this for my benefits, not that. If you're doing this, then your request to the universe is going to be wishy-washy. So you might get a job offer and then not get the job, and get a job offer and not get the job, because that's how you're actually manifesting. So you want to detach from the outcome and do other things in your life that feel successful. I'm doing this because I did this little list of things over here. You want to feel successful, but not have it be connected and attached to what it is. So with the Akashic Records, you manifest based on all of the universal laws. We all do. So even though we don't necessarily understand gravity, gravity happens. We know that gravity happens. We can prove that gravity is here. The universal laws work exactly the same way. So they happen regardless of whether you know they exist or not. So you might as well know them so you know how to play the game. So with the Akashic Records, all of the universal laws apply to you, but your soul uniquely has its own manifesting blueprint. And that means that for me, in my manifestation blueprint, I'm a process person. You could be an outcome person. A process person, I want every single step that I take towards my big goal, I want it to be fun. And because honestly, I don't necessarily care if I get here, if the whole process is enjoyable. If you are an outcome person, you're totally the opposite. If you're an outcome person, then all you see is the big pie in the sky, and you don't care if you have to do, if you have to get up at 5 a.m. every morning, if you have to, do things that you don't like, you don't care because the outcome is your goal. So totally different way for people to manifest. That's important information for you to know. So manifesting blueprint can help you with that. Other things I've been able to pull for people, sort of in the Akashic Records, but sometimes it's more intuition and me connecting with guides. Past lives, definitely. Life situations is another interesting one, actually. When people connect with me for what I call a life situation reading, they will come to me with a list of like 15 items that don't make sense. So my windshield wipers keep scraping my window. Every time I get a new pair, it happens again. Every house I move into, the basement leaks. My cats keep fighting and they won't stop, or whatever it is. So they have 15 different items of things that are going on, but none of them actually seem interconnected. So what I do in the Akashic Records is I take these things and I put them into groups based on situation. So I figure out which ones are connected, and then I figure out what in your Akashic Record is actually causing that. And a lot of times it could be things in our ancestry. So you've actually pulled forward some kind of a belief system or a pattern from your mother's side or from your father's side. And sometimes it can be things that happened in childhood or this life. And sometimes it can be things from your past life that are actually creating those situations. And those situations, I talked about this a little bit earlier, those situations are like the things that we're not aware of. So we're aware that the basement keeps leaking, but we're not paying attention to what the leaking means. A lot of times leaking water means that you're leaking money somewhere. So you're paying for things that are not things that you're actually using. So you might have a gym membership and you never go to the gym. Or you might be paying for some online service that you never use. So you want to pay attention to what the meaning of things are. So sometimes I can connect those for you and get you to understand what the meaning of those weird situations are so you can actually create the shift in the physical. I can also do relationship readings. So these are kind of fun. So if you have been in a body before, then likely the family that you are with in this lifetime, or the friends or the people that you're interacting with, you've had past lives with. So some people will come to me and it'll be like a mother and a daughter, or it'll be a partner. So, two people in a relationship in this lifetime. And I can look back into their past lives and figure out how many times they've actually been connected and what roles they've played. So it's interesting because often in our soul groups, the groups that we continue to reincarnate with, we play different roles. So I could be, the mother in this lifetime, but in a past lifetime, I was the daughter, or I was the son, or I was the husband. And so it's very interesting how that works, because it can kind of give you an idea of why the dynamic is how it is in this lifetime. So if you had a relationship with a mother and a daughter in this lifetime, and the mother was sort of acting like a daughter or like a child, but this person was acting, like the mother, almost like their roles were reversed. In a past life, it's likely that the roles were reversed and the souls are not ready or not able to act as this current role in this lifetime. Fascinating stuff. So let me know if you have any comments or questions on that. Let me know if you try the legs up the wall pose, and if that serves you. Let me know if you have any conditions in the body that you are curious about because the body talks to you. So you really want to pay attention to, do my knees hurt? Does my back hurt? Do I get headaches all the time? And really tap into why, because your body is trying to tell you something. So you want to be more aware. You want to be able to expand. You want to be able to speak your truth. You want to be able to hear things and choose what you're hearing. So you really just want the new year to be new. So if you have any comments or questions, let me know. If you want an Akashic Record reading or some other reading from me, then I am available. Oh, I'm also doing psychic card readings. I've been doing quite a few of those recently, and they're a lot of fun. It's an affordable way to work with me, and it's almost an hour. Most of them are about an hour. And they're I actually forecast all the information as I pull cards for you about what's coming up. And it's not all specific, but sometimes specific things come up or some kind of wisdom comes to me and I share it. And I think it's important for you to know where your current energy is going. And what happens with that is it's how you manifest. It's how you stay in your comfort zone. So future projections are about how you've acted in the past and what your energy feels like now, because how you've acted in the past and how you feel now is going to talk to you about what future you're creating. So if I were to do a card reading for you and you didn't like the results, then you know that you need to shift something in order to get new results. So that's a cool thing to try as well. So hopefully that information served you. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. Namaste.